Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back, or welcome to Indie Please That Details, episode 33. My name is Keegan, one half of Love Gamers, hanging out with Tom, the other half. How you doing today, Tom?
Feeling good. Feeling pretty good.
Feeling good, feeling great. How about
sleep, which is, more than usual.
Yeah.
I had a nice rest this morning. I'm showered, which doesn't happen that often, and I'm glad to be doing a podcast again. I feel like it's been a hot second.
My day started off not so great. I told you when I got here. I was like, can we push the time back?
Sucked.
And it started with about 1.5 inches to potentially 2 inches. I didn't actually measure it, of water in my kitchen because my neighbor's pipe burst and it went through the wall into my area. So I had to
is it like sewage water, or is it just like
no? It's it's kitchen. It's like it's initiated from the dishwasher, so it's not clean water, but it's not like poop water.
It's a food in it and stuff.
The dishwasher. Yeah, yeah.
Just wretched over here.
So there's that.
That's gross.
But theoretically, because of the wall, I didn't get any of the food. I just got the because it seeped through the wall. Essentially, is what happened. And it just kept going.
So you got a filter going on.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the wall between me and my neighbor's apartment is now really soggy.
Still not a fun way to start your day.
No, not at all. You know, it is a fun way.
What's that?
Talk about indie games.
Yeah.
This is Indie Please That Detail, our weekly dip in the world of indie games and indie developers, where we discuss the news and our indie excursions throughout the week. Topping it all off with a discussion that you can join in the comments down below. You can list us on your favorite podcast services: Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. It's still hard for me to say because I always want to say iTunes. I'm an old fart. I love my iTunes. Let me some iTunes. You could probably still get them on iTunes.
Oh, you could say iTunes. People know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Apple.
We don't have to bend to the whims of Apple's name.
Get it on Apple.
Things.
You can see our lovely faces on YouTube, which, fun fact, if you go to level2gamers.com, it does not take you there anymore. That takes you to our brand new website.
It is true.
So you want to actually go, if you want to go directly to YouTube, you ready for this one? It's youtube.com/c/level2, TWO spelled out, gaming. Because that's the original name.
Just go to the website and that'll be a link.
You click on YouTube. Level2gamers.com, like I said, is our website where we update the news, and that's actually where a lot of the news from today's show is going to be from. And you can see it early there, like sneak peeks in what the podcast is going to be. And I picked the best ones from the week.
Cool.
You can continue the discussion online, but off air. If you head over to Twitter at Level2GamersSTL, or, I don't know, Instagram, Discord, link in the description, all that fun stuff.
A couple things. I'm more active on Twitter than you know, I think.
I browse Twitter a lot. I talk to developers on Twitter. I don't really post to Twitter.
Yeah,
I post from other things.
I have thoughts. So sometimes I post those thoughts.
I have thoughts. Do you want to jump in, Tom, like we do every week, the new releases?
I would love to.
So first thing we're going to talk about is, again, we do every week, is the Xbox releases. Well, every other week,
Mostly
I guess.
Because they have better descriptions.
Mostly because it has better descriptions. A lot of the games are cross-play across everything. It's a big week for games. There's lots of indie games. There's a big non-indie game on PlayStation this week.
True.
Switch is always got stuff happening. So we're going to talk about all that. You spoiled the game.
Whip. Everyone knows Spider-Man's coming out.
You spoiled the game,
There's no one
Tom.
that doesn't know Spider-Man. Literally,
maybe
at the Sony
somebody
headquarters, they have a fuck-off web that is stretched between the two skyscrapers with the Spider-Man symbol in between. There's no one.
I have a Spider-Man story, but I'm not going to get onto it here.
Okay.
But it's from the first movie, where I am going to get onto it here. Spider-Man was supposed to...
You look like you're about to get onto it.
So fun fact, Spider-Man in the first Spider-Man movie, Tobey Maguire, was supposed to catch the Green Goblin between the two Twin Towers by putting a web between it.
But they didn't.
But 9/11 happened, and they said, we probably shouldn't do that then. So yeah, that's a little behind the scenes where I think they cut that out, like, no joke, maybe 3 or 4 months before the movie was supposed to be released. So it's like, I wonder if they shot something, like, how do you, I don't know how you fix that.
CGI, probably.
Well, I'm sure. But like the time it takes, I'm just thinking from a time standpoint.
I don't know. It was nuts. I mean, the video editors were crunching for those 4 months. That I know that much. But I used to love Spider-Man when I was a kid.
He's
I
my
used
favorite
to dress up as Spider-Man and hang from. Do you know what climbing frame is? Do you have climbing frames here?
You mean a jungle gym?
Not really, maybe, I don't know. But it was just like a
dome?
big metal structure, sort of rocket shaped, but it had like lots of cable, like not cables, wires on it and stuff. I would just like hang upside down from that in my Spider-Man costume in the back.
My sister broke her wrist doing that one time.
Did she?
Yeah, she fell off.
That sucks.
And snapped her wrist. Let's move to indie games on Xbox. First game of the week, and again, big week for games. This is a big one to start off with. Planet Alpha. Alone and far away from home, you find yourself in the center of a conflict of epic proportions where second chances are rare. Planet Alpha is an adventure game that takes place in a living alien world where you control the day and night. It combines fast platforming, challenging puzzles, stealth elements with a unique art style to create an unforgettable experience.
Never heard of it.
This was announced on the E3 stage. You heard of it.
I know some of that.
I know you've heard of it because I shared it with you.
I may have.
You just may not recognize the name because it's a generic name.
Oh, what was it?
Planet Alpha.
What did it used to be called?
No, it's a generic name.
Oh, it's just, it is pretty generic.
So, but it's really cool. It's a like a 3D platforming style game. Like inside, like it's like 2D elements with 3D characters, if that makes sense. Like inside, where technically you're going left and right. Mm-hmm. You're not going back and forth, but the characters are modeled in 3D. It's surreal. There's lots of things floating around you, so I'm excited about that.
It's indie.
It's indie.
Nice.
Next one, Shadows Awakening.
Heard a bit of hype about this.
I'm going to move my mic over here so when I read, I'm not like, because I go real quiet when I read, I've learned. A unique, isometric, single-player RPG with real-time tactical combat, Shadows Awakening puts you in control of a demon summoned from the Shadow Realm to consume the souls of the long-dead heroes. Gather your party, control powerful heroes, and use their skills to your advantage. But who is in charge, the demon or the souls that have been devoured? I don't know. That game actually looks pretty good. I'm interested to see it. I don't like a lot of the top-down isometric, or not top-down, but isometric. It has
hints of Diablo.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, but the people that like those type of games, like they're probably gonna like that.
Like
game.
I said, I've heard quite a lot of hype around it. I don't know if that's like it hasn't necessarily been good or bad hype, just that I've seen the name flung around a lot, and that's usually a good.
Well, the PR people have been flinging it at us too.
Yeah, they've definitely been giving it a push. So hopefully it's good. Next
one is actually a really, really fun one that I played, single player, and you'll see it is multiplayer as well. But Ninjin: The Clash of Carrots. An anime-inspired 1 to 2 player beat 'em up with variety of enemies, deep player customization. Play as a rabbit ninjin or Akai, the ninja fox, and fight to retrieve the carrot stolen by Shogun Mo.
Shogun Mo.
Like how you have Ninjin, Akai, and Shogun Mo. Redeem carrots for weapons, upgrades, and more. Ninjin also features a unique survival mode called Oni TV Show, where players will fight endless waves of enemies for rare rewards. So I got the key to this game. Gameplay's up on our channel if you want to check it out. But it's one of those things when you get a game, especially an indie game, it's all over the map when you get something. You're like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I don't know if I'm gonna hate it. This game is one of those just like old school fun times. It's a beat 'em up. I'm a huge fan of the level progression where the enemies were varied. I played the first 6 or 7 levels, and you're gonna repeat like the grunt enemies, but the bosses felt all different. The harder like enemies didn't feel like shielded grunts.
Is the play style similar to Streets of Rage? That's what I'm getting from looking.
Yes. At it. So the way it works is you have a couple things. You have you're a slash, so you start with a katana style thing, like it's a maybe a short sword. I don't know exactly what it is, but you have a slash. You then have a dash that you don't take damage when you dash, which the developer in the lovely review guide they give us said use that to your advantage. So that's a tip for you guys: dash to get away. But you can dash forward, back. You can go up and down. You've got all these enemies, and these enemies all drop carrots. The carrots are the currency to then buy weapons from a corgi shop. A corgi that you save at the beginning of the game is your shopkeep, which I just love that little touch. But there's things like you have weapons, so you can get the big sword in the game. The expensive one initially is a carrot sword, so it's a long sword. You have daggers.
Is it a carrot?
Yeah, it's orange and looks like a carrot as much as a sword can look like a carrot. So it's a carrot-shaped sword with a handle. It's a carrot with a handle on the end.
Kind of like a javelin, then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then you have like ninja stars, you have boomerangs, you have all these kind of secondary stuff, and then you can buy healths and shields and power-ups and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot to it. I'm interested to see how it is with 2 players. Single, like by myself, the first few levels are super easy, like any of these games are, but you could feel the difficulty ramp up, and then the first boss, I felt like I went from just whacking the X button to hit everything to actually having a plan where I'm going to attack. And one of the moves they show you is you can actually, when you dash, you can hit multiple enemies in a row. So if they're all lined up, you dash forward. You then want to jump up because they're going to try and hit you, and then you dash back. Your health is hard to regen, which is, I think, good. It's not unfair, but the enemies will drop health packs every so often, but you have to grab them, and the stage is constantly scrolling. So you have to get it before it scrolls off screen, and you have to.
So it doesn't stop to let you finish off the people on screen before it moves on. It's
correct. They're moving with you essentially. So you're running the whole time, and then they're just following you along that path. Sounds dope. So it's fun. I told you we need to do 2-player on this because it's a lot of fun. I want to see what the difference. I played as Ninjin. I didn't play as a Kai. I'm interested to see if a Kai has anything different. But Ninjin was a lot of fun to play, and I'm gonna go back and finish it. I finished, like I said, the first boss, and I'm on to World 2, I guess. I don't know how many there are in total, but they give you combos. You get health based on combos and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really interested to see where it goes.
Good times.
The shop is really cool. Like I said, the corgi aspect is awesome, and the story is quite clever and cute, and it reminds me of old Sonic games, with the nostalgia feel of the story's not great. Animals. Yeah, the story's not great, but it's serviceable because you're saving carrots from, what was the name? Shogun? No. So, next, I'm not going to go into this, but Destiny 2 Forsaken has come out. I know a lot of the group I play with is excited about that. I'm
divided opinions on that, I think.
I'm still on the fence because Destiny shouldn't make me pay to upgrade to fix it.
But interestingly enough, Destiny 2 went free for PS Plus owners a week ago.
Yep, there's a reason for that.
I wonder if the player base is dwindling a little bit.
No, they do it so you pay for this then.
Yeah.
So, Claws of Fury. Xbox One X enhanced. Punch and claw your way through 40 fast-paced levels of pure mayhem while honing your ninja cat skills to rescue your master from evil claws of the unknown enemy. Claws of Fury is a blend of action and classic arcade beat-em-ups with 4 distinct environments with unique enemies to battle. With multiple modes such as roguelike and arena and unlockable outfits with unique bonuses, you have plenty of content to keep you coming back for more. So I had to choose.
So Ninja Animals this week.
I was going to say I had to choose between Claws because I had to choose between Claws of Fury and Ninjin. And Ninjin to me looked more unique. The art style of Claws of Fury is it's cool, but when I watched the trailer, it didn't catch my eyes as much. So when it comes to beat 'em ups, I was leaning toward Ninja. I've not played Claws of Fury, but I've heard all right things about it.
It looks good from here.
So it looks good. I just had to pick my Ninja Animal beat 'em up.
There's only one Ninja Animal beat 'em up per week.
Yes,
I mean that's just the rule.
Dimension Drive, the intense space shoot 'em up challenges you to fight across 2 battlefields on one split screen. Nice. Unlock and power up a variety of weapons, master advanced techniques like Drift Drive that lets you dodge bullets in a split second, or even flip into reverse drive to hit enemies when they least expect it. Play solo or via local co-op partner.
So is that bullet hell?
That's what it looks like. It looks like a bullet hell.
I see a fuck ton of bullets on screen, so that's why I'm going with that.
I'm going with bullet hell. Moonfall Ultimate. Moonfall Ultimate is a 2D side-scrolling action RPG set in an industrial gothic universe. Hack, slash, and cast your way through a treacherous, hand-painted world in solo, couch co-op, or endless arcade mode. Discover a story of a once small kingdom now under the threat from so-called savages, and that savages is capitalized, meaning that's their name. They hunt a mysterious element known as Lunarium, and you must protect the land at the front line. There's a lot of couch co-op games this week. I'm excited about this. Yeah. Couch co-op is not dead.
Revival.
Couch co-op is not dead. Yeah. Full Blast. Humanity is on the verge of extinction due to an alien invasion, and it just so happens you're the last hope to save the world. Full Blast is a vertical scrolling shooter that brings a dose of nostalgia to gamers who spent many hours at their local arcade. It's not just an alien menace you have to be worried about, but they're projectiles you need to dodge if you hope to survive across the game's 12 random levels. That's weird, that's random.
It's not just aliens you have to worry about, they have guns.
They have guns as well. There's another game I played, Elia, however you say it, Episode 1, which means there's probably going to be more of these if this does well. Xbox One X enhanced. In 2073, Earth was struck by a horrid childhood disease, and Elia's husband joins an expedition to colonize Solus, a habitable exoplanet, to save humanity from extinction. The interstellar ship he was on, the Pilgrimage, went radio silent shortly after it reached the planet. 13 years later, Elia joins a rescue mission to investigate the fate of the expedition in this surreal sci-fi adventure. So I played this, but this is definitely a Tom game.
You think I would like it?
Oh, I think you would. It starts off, you're in a room, you have this voice talking to you, there's a crazy-ass storm going on outside. You go out, the first thing I did was look at myself in the mirror, because I just explored the thing. But when the story starts off, and it's where, if you watch the gameplay again on our channel, it's where the gameplay ends because we weren't allowed to show anything after that. You get a phone call, power goes out, and then you get your flashlight, and you got to go explore the basement.
And that was when you were like, fucking them out.
Yep, I was like, flashlight, something's going to jump at me. That's pretty much how it goes. But this seems like something you would like. If you like, I would say like Gone Home, or if you like, what's the other one they did? They did another one too. Tacoma. Oh, yeah. You would like Elia. It's very similar in the vein of that, where
I was getting Mass Effect vibes from it, but is it more horror than that?
From what I played, it's an atmospheric horror. It's like Gone Home, where I don't think it's actually horror. It just
a little creepy.
Keeps you on edge.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going on. King's Guard TD.
What's TD stand for?
I don't know. Your tactical knowledge to tip the scales of triumph in your favor to save the kingdom. Build towers, each with a different ability to lead your defense forces against difficult enemies. Fight across 3 different environments in 3 campaigns that offer an intense tower defense experience with 50+ challenging and unique levels. It's tower defense. That's what TD stands for. Immortal Unchained, Xbox One X Enhanced. Take on the role of a living weapon unleashed to stop the source of a cataclysmic event threatening to end all worlds in this challenging action RPG. Discover the secret of these worlds, master the unique but lethal gun combat, and defeat legendary bosses. It will require many harsh lessons to unlock this potential in an unforgiving universe full of murderous foes.
That's right.
Out of the box.
Oh, there's a lot going on this week.
Yeah, I told you it's a big week, so I'm gonna rip through these. Dive into a wild story of gangsters and criminals in Out of the Box, a captivating thriller where you decide the fate of the peculiar customers of a luxurious nightclub in a never-ending race against the clock. Will you let the teenagers into the nightclub in exchange for money? Will you confront a wealthy client to save his girlfriend? Or will you work with the police to bring down the most powerful gangster in town?
So it's like almost like a point-and-click adventure type thing.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's point-and-click. I've not seen a trailer for it, but that's what I would guess.
Cool.
Shalnor Legends, Sacred Lands. A young girl has traveled to the Sacred Lands, which is capitalized again because it's the name. Within this realm, she will face many challenges, fight dangerous monsters, and solve mysterious puzzles. Many have come to this land before, all in hopes of finishing the sacred trial, but none have succeeded. Will she fail like the others, or will she overcome the odds and return home? I'm going to guess she's going to overcome the odds and return home.
This couldn't look more like Zelda Link to the Past if it tried right now. Look at that picture.
Yeah.
It's just updated Zelda. I mean, I'm assuming that the gameplay turns out to be quite different, but that particular screenshot they're using on the Xbox site there looks exactly like Zelda. But it's not a bad thing by any means.
I mean, Zelda has influenced a lot of things.
So, yeah.
Another game I played, and this is actually going to be our spotlight this week. Sigi, a Fart For Melusina. I can never say that word. It's Melusina. Melusina. Join Knight Sigi as he runs, jumps, and battles in his flatulent quest to save Melusina, the love of his life. Take down hordes of goofy enemies and crazy bosses, earn riches, find long-lost holy artifacts, and make your way to the top of the mountain, or top of Mount Stinkup.
Mount Stinkup.
Yes.
It's so bizarre.
We're going to go into this a little bit more. Like I said, this is my spotlight this week, but I will give you a full opinion there, but spoiler, I enjoyed it.
Shock.
Yeah.
You liked a game about farts.
The farts had nothing to do with it.
Me confused.
The fart, I didn't realize it was a fart game. I knew it was a fart game.
I know what you liked.
Arcade Islands, Volume 1. That means there's going to be Volume 2, potentially. 6 exotic islands filled with games and treasures waiting for adventures of all skill levels. Explore these islands solo or invite a group of friends over the same local co-op and competitive gameplay. For some local co-op and competitive gameplay. Collect treasure as you master all 33 games in your quest to be crowned ruler of the islands.
It's quite a lot of games. 33. That's not bad.
Yeah,
for,
but
a shitty,
they're probably not going to be good.
Arcade.
NBA 2K19 20th Anniversary Edition. NBA Live 19. Not going to talk about those. I am going to talk about this because this is technically an indie game. NASCAR Heat 3. With more ways to race than ever before, NASCAR Heat 3 helps you build your own race team and compete in the Extreme Dirt Tour in the newly expanded career mode. Prove you're the best driver in the world in new online tournaments, and with new at-track stories mean anything can happen on race day. Plus, all your favorite modes are back and better than ever, like split screen, challenge, championship, 40-player online, and more. I'm super pumped about this game. So NASCAR games kind of sucked there for a little while when EA dropped it, and then I had a couple of developers and publishers do it, and you can see, tell by the title, they're on the third game with this publisher and developer.
I believe, was it NASCAR Heat 2 that you played when we did the 24-hour stream?
And this is added.
Gotcha.
This is we're getting back to what the NASCAR games were that I remember in like between 2003 2006 ish, which in my opinion was the height of like the NASCAR games. NASCAR Thunder 2003 is arguably the best game to ever exist when it comes to NASCAR. 2006 did a lot when it came to playing the other series. So you have the Craftsman trucks, you have the modified, which is what do they call now? The Extreme Dirt Tour in here because they probably don't get licensed, and then the Xfinity series. So I'm excited to have this. Me and our buddy Tim at work have talked about it. He's probably going to pick it up. We're probably going to race each other. But I'm just happy that there's good NASCAR games again because it's been a while.
I'm happy that you're happy.
It's been a while. And finally, Dead Age. We're going to go from NASCAR to survive the zombie apocalypse with turn-based combat and permanent death. Manage survivors, go on dangerous scavenging hunts, build alliances, craft equipment, make difficult story-influenced decisions, defend your camp against undead hordes, and experience all the near roguelike elements. That's a long sentence. An innovative indie survival RPG.
Looks like a mobile game.
It does.
Doesn't it?
Looks like a mobile game that got ported.
Looks like Walking Dead, the mobile game.
Yes. So that's Xbox. So the big ones, I'm going to say, there's quite a few of them, but I would say Planet Alpha. The ones you should check out: Planet Alpha, Shadows Awakening, Ninjin, Claws of Fury. Maybe, I don't know. It looks all right, but I've not played it. Elia. I would say Out of the Box looked interesting too. Sigi, NASCAR Heat if you're a NASCAR fan, and yeah, there's quite a few on Xbox this week.
It's doing all right.
Let's move on to PlayStation.
Do it.
PlayStation has if they're the same games. I'm just gonna say they're there. I'm not gonna repeat it. Has Welcome to PlayStation with this name already. 428 Shibuya.
I don't know.
Shibuya. Scramble. Shibuya.
Shibuya.
A kidnapping in Shibuya brings together a detective, a journalist, a former gang leader, a big pharma researcher, and a part-timer stuck in a cat costume for a series of unexpected events. Can they, or the city itself, make it through the day?
I will watch the trailer for this.
This sounds like a Tom game.
Debatedly pick it up, just based on the fact that there's a guy in a cat costume.
Arcade Islands Volume 1 is on PS4. Destiny's on PS4. Dimension Drive. This is the same bullet hell, but different artwork. It gives you a different vibe, which is kind of interesting. Dragon Quest 11, Echoes of an Elusive Age.
This, I'm super excited for.
Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age, follows the perilous journey of the hunted hero who must uncover the mystery of his fate and help with the help of his charismatic companions.
That's the fucking detail for every single JRPG ever made. But Dragon Age gets a bad rap because Dragon Age is like a more kid-friendly version of Final Fantasy, where the characters are a bit more cartoony and like everything's just generally a bit more cartoony, but they're so well put together. Every single Dragon Age I've ever played, including the sprite-based ones over to the 3D-based ones, has been fantastic. So the only downside to it is it is a $60 game. So you do have to have
the Elusive Age has that elusive price.
Yeah, and there's another game coming out this week that might be more deserved of your $60.
Full Blast is also on PS4 and it's on PS Vita. Cross-buy if you have a Vita.
I was gonna yell at that artwork, and then I saw the fish behind him.
Yeah.
It's like a 6.
Immortal Unchained is coming to PS4. Marvel's Spider-Man, which is the big hitter this week, is coming out. And all the reviews have dropped at this point, it's been very well received. I'm seeing 9s, 9.5, and I've not seen a 10 yet, but 9 and 9.5
I don't think it's perfect by any means.
There's not enough puddles for people.
Yeah, no puddle dynamics is off.
Moonfall Ultimate is coming to PS4. NASCAR Heat 3 is coming to PS4. NBA Live. Ninja Clash of Carrots is on PS4 as well, so you can pick it up there. And Planet Alpha, Shadows Awakening, Sigi, and then an exclusive to PS4 here, SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. Grab a friend and enter SNK Dream Match in this frenetic fighting party game featuring SNK's iconic heroines in this brand new 2v2 fighting game. I'm assuming SNK is a brand.
Yeah. I don't know what it stands for.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But that's it. And then you get a couple of VR games this week.
Zone of the Enders is regular and VR, by the way, so you might want to mention that real quick.
Tom wants me to mention Zone of the Enders, the second runner. Dash Mars.
I'm pretty sure it's both. It says PSVR on there, but when I was on the
in 4K and full VR, enter the orbital frame of Jehuti's cockpit and fly through the Martian skies. It's Jehuti.
That is the stupidest name, though.
Jehuti or
no?
Zone of Enders, second Mars.
Second runner hyphen Mars with an upside down A.
Yeah.
Is ridiculous.
Also, the upside down A is a different font than everything else.
Yeah.
So,
because why not?
But then, it's similar to Xbox. The big ones are the Sigi.
A lot of cross.
Ninja. There's a lot of cross going on there, cross-pollination. The only different one is the
Japanese ones, basically. SNK and 428.
Yes. Moving on to Switch. And Switch is getting a bunch of stuff like everything else this week. Some of these have come out on other platforms. Actually, I think most of them come out on other platforms at this point.
A lot of old school popular indie games.
So, remember, they're bringing us 20 to 30 a week, Tom. There's not quite that this week. But
no, but a lot of these were announced at that recent Nindies thing that they did where they were hyping up. I could see I won't spoil them, but go ahead.
So, Broforce coming out, $15 for that.
Game.
Gone Home, $15. Hyperlight Drifter Special Edition, $20. Kentucky Robo Chicken. That's a new one. Never heard of it. It's $2.50. Lifeless.
Only on Switch.
Lifeless Planet Premier Edition, $20. Oh, God. Shikondo Soul Eater.
Yeah, you got it.
$13.99. SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy, $49.99.
Guess it's not a PlayStation exclusive.
No. Full Blast, $5.99. Mummy Pinball is $1.99. NBA 2K19 20th edition. Sigi. So if you have a Switch and you're gonna buy Sigi, buy it here. And I'm gonna explain why again later on in the thing. But Sigi is a Switch game through and through.
I think so.
Yes.
I agree.
And then, last but not least, super inefficient golf. And let me read the description on this page for you, Tom, because it is super inefficient.
How inefficient?
So first of all, the name's it's just a super inefficient. It's $8. There's like 7 screenshots, and then it says boom birdie. Super inefficient golf builds on top of the most inefficient game ever conceived by making it less efficient. Drop your silly golf stick and start using exploding mines to guide your ball. Place them, choose the right timing, and boom birdie.
Boom goes.
We actually watched the trailer for this, and it
legit looks good.
It's stupid, but in a good way.
Yeah. So essentially, like, as you're playing like mini golf, kind of.
I mean, you are playing mini golf. It's not kind of. You are playing mini golf. There's obstacles in the way.
The courses are a little bit, more hectic than actual mini golf.
Well, have you ever played mini golf? Come on, man.
Not good mini golf. But you get to strap different variations of like mines and stuff to your golf ball before you blow it off the tee, and then so you can like blow it into a wall and spring off the wall, and then like blow it directly down into the green so you don't go off. And there's like,
or you hit it into barrels, TNT.
It's almost like a puzzle golf game because I mean, there's a lot of thought that's got to go into getting that ball from A to B. But it does look legitimately good, and the graphics are pretty sweet. Like I honestly thought I was pretty impressed, and the music was pretty cool. So I'm all for it.
It's $8 game. It's priced right, and I think it's
$8. Do it.
The only concern I have is it's single player.
Well, it's a golf game.
But local co-op.
But it's not even like a fun
local co-op
would be.
Local co-op would have been nice.
I guess it depends on how many buttons you need for the all the mines and everything. I guess it can't be that many.
2 controllers.
I was thinking the Joy-Cons, because every local co-op game they do relies on the Joy-Cons, which really only have like 2 buttons or so to use if you're doing it.
Well, they have the shoulder buttons.
Yeah.
They have the face buttons.
Yeah, maybe.
You have the joystick. You have like 10 buttons on that controller.
I mean, it doesn't.
You have the 4 face buttons. You have the 2 front ones, and you have.
It feels like a joystick for ants.
Yes, I agree. It's small, but there is like 10 buttons on that controller.
Yeah, I just think it'd be. Well, guys, it would add to the inefficiency.
Yes,
so
that's your roundup for this week of new releases on Xbox, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. Moving on to the heart and meat and soul of this podcast, the details right after this.
If you've enjoyed any of the Xbox games you've seen on our channel, please be aware that we are actually affiliated with Microsoft. So you can click this link down in the description there and purchase any of these awesome games, and it actually helps out the channel. We'd really appreciate it.
So moving on to the details, Tom. In detail number 1, fun fact, all these details, like I said before, are from our website. If you go to level2gamers.com, you know all these exist already. But detail number 1 is actually something that I saw in a Facebook group that somebody pointed out. PS4 seen in PUBG Xbox video on YouTube. So is the Xbox channel.
Yeah.
And in the channel they are highlighting PUBG because of developer interview. And in the background there's a PS4.
Yeah. Oversight, I think.
Oversight. So this is actually my write-up, everybody. Authored by Keegan at level2gamers.com.
Let's see if you can read it better than someone else's.
Today on the official Today on the official it should say Xbox YouTube Xbox account, they released a video called PUBG, The Road to 1.0 on Xbox One. One sharp-eyed viewer saw PS4 in the background at the 54-second mark. Does this confirm that PUBG is coming to PS4? What do you think? You can watch the whole video on the channel here. So I get a link on the page. If you click that, you can see on the news link, I have it highlighted with a white circle. It's literally just a PlayStation sitting there. So what's your thoughts? I think at some point they were testing it, and they might still be testing it, so it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, I have always thought that PUBG is going to wind up on the PlayStation. I mean, honestly, the concern I have is by the time it gets there, it's already lost so much steam.
Momentum. No pun intended.
Yeah, that I don't think many people... I mean, people will play it, but I don't think people are going to care as much. I mean, it really, by the time it hits PlayStation, it needs to be not just 1.0, it needs to be like 1.5. Like, it needs to be so fucking polished and so smooth, and the frame rates need to be sick, and the controls need to feel better, and the maps need to be updated. Like, everything needs to feel perfect. Otherwise, it's gonna flop.
It won't.
Yeah, so it's sad, but the PlayStation community has largely latched onto Fortnite over PUBG anyway because we were the last to get it, and then we have stuff like DayZ, not DayZ, H1Z1, that one. People have been playing that quite a bit, so I do think it'll have an audience, but I think that once people play it, if it's at all like garbage to them as far as any aspect of it, controls, like lag, anything like that, they're just going to go back to Fortnite.
Move next, yeah.
Yeah.
Detail number 2, and I'm excited about this one. Team 17 announces the Escapists Complete Edition coming to Switch.
Oh, fun.
Today, Team 17 has announced the Escapists is coming to the Nintendo Switch later this year in a complete edition. It'll feature all base maps plus 9 new ones, including a never released on console.
Nice.
So you get one extra one that was never released on console.
There was quite a lot of DLC for those.
Yes. And this is the first Escapist, not Escapist 2. So these are original Escapists. So it does not have the...
But it does mean that
does
they
not have
could
multiplayer.
potentially do Escapist 2.
But they don't have multiplayer and all that. So the Escapist Complete Edition features 15 unique prisons to escape, from minimal security of center perks to the harsh of Stalag Fluck POW camp that is the most content-packed version of the Escapist ever released on console. Includes all DLC packs, including Alcatraz, Escape Team, Duct Tapes Are Forever, Santa's Sweatshop, and First Peak Correctional Facility, which was previously exclusive to PC. Multiple ways to escape, a variety of different methods to bust your way out, including digging your way out of prisons, digging out and prison takeovers. I can't read right now. 10 different jobs. Take on prison jobs to fund your fiendish plans, including laundry, janitor, metal shop, kitchen, tailor, deliveries, and gardener. Deep crafting system. Gather the necessary items you'll need to craft items for your escape. Craft tools such as cutters, shovels, sheet rope, and weapons such as sock mace, comb blade, or cup of molten chocolate.
So, The Escapists is a very well thought out game. My only thing about it, and the thing that I think will hinder it a tiny bit on Switch, is that it is really long to play. Like
to escape.
To escape, yeah. I mean,
you can do sections.
I'm sure you can like
mini
save
and
here and there and everything. But like, I felt like even when we were playing it on stream, I was like, "Fuck me, this is taking forever." Because like, you would try it, you'd fail, you'd try, you'd fail, you'd try, you'd fail, and like the whole sort of dynamic of having to go to the jobs and having to do this and that and the other means there's not a whole lot of time for you to just kind of wander around and try and figure out the best route of escape.
But that's the truth. That's how prison actually would be, though.
No, yeah, I'm not saying I get it's a good game. My only concern is that on a Switch, the Switch is almost built for smaller bites of games. Like we were talking about Sigi is like a pretty like all the levels.
But if you're doing this in chunks, so say you're trying to find in the game, you're gonna spend day 1 of just seeing what the routine of it, or day 1 and 2 what the routine is that you're gonna get to, so you get it down, and then from there you'll be like, okay, now what I need to do? I need to collect stuff. So maybe I'll make sure I collect my comb and all this kind of stuff that I need. Then I'll stop there.
But wouldn't you think that leaving that game for any period of time would leave you as lost as leaving like an RPG for any period of time? When you come back, you're like,
I think it's simple enough that no.
Okay.
Because you can't carry that much. That's the thing, is you're not hundreds of hours in. You're maybe an hour in.
Right.
So
that's
if you
fair.
can't remember,
I feel like I personally would lose the way.
If
but
you can't remember an hour,
I'm not very good with memory, so
yeah.
I probably won't pick it up for that. But I do like it on PS, and I do like playing it in longer stints than I would on a Switch.
Detail number 3: Prison Architects Escape Mode DLC out now on PS4. Over on the PlayStation blog, Tom Pedalino, I don't know what his name is, the game designer for Prison Architect, announced that the new Escape Mode DLC is being released today. This was a couple days ago. In the Escape Mode, you take on the role of an inmate and try to escape by forming a crew forming a crew, bribing guards, and developing your skills to execute a masterful escape plan. You can try and escape your own prison or try your luck at one of the thousands communities have made up, ready to download from the world of Wardens.
That's kind of fun.
So
the prison architect becomes the escapist.
Yes. Yeah. So 2 things I want to say here. Thing number 1, if you have Xbox Live this month, it is the free game, and it includes this DLC.
Oh, that's good.
So if the Xbox version is the complete version, actually it may not be. Maybe it's Game Pass. One of the two. It's either Game Pass or Xbox Live. I don't know for sure which one is one of the 2 services. Includes everything. So I started playing it and I was like, ooh, this is actually kind of fun. This is like inverse Escapists.
By the way, guys, if you need to pick up an Xbox Game Pass or Xbox Live, you can go down into the description below and hit our link as Microsoft affiliates. That's correct. We're Microsoft affiliates. So you can click that and purchase Prison Architect from there, and it will help the channel as well as you get to play an awesome game, which I think is worth doing. If you want to help us out, you don't have to, but if you feel like it, it's there.
I'm checking real quick to see if it's...
Or which one it's on?
Yeah.
I would say Game Pass is worth it anyway. They just released the the Halo collection on that.
It's free with gold.
Okay, so if you have your gold, then you get this for free. So I mean, I guess it doesn't help us out anyway. But if you don't get it in time and you want to pick it up later, or you're watching this podcast way late, hit that affiliate link and help us out.
Yep.
Love you.
So I'm excited about that though, because this game is like the inverse Escapist. I think it's funny because you're trying to escape, and then you're trying to keep them in, and now you're trying to escape again.
Yeah.
So it's like the Escapists in game mode.
And you get to design the prison, or there's probably some really good ones on the download.
Yeah. So you can design one and share it and piss your friends off like Mario Maker, or you can just, if you're like you that doesn't like designing shit, you just download all the ones that are already pre-made.
Shit. Cool.
Detail number 4. DayZ hits Xbox game preview. It's finally here. DayZ is making its long-awaited arrival to consoles, starting with Xbox today, and this was a couple days ago again, as part of Xbox Game Preview program. With it, eventually, in quotes, coming to PS4. DayZ is Xbox One enhanced and includes 4K support. You can pick up DayZ, we have a link on our website, for $39.99 in Xbox Game Preview, but at full launch will be $49.99.
Well, where do I start with this? First of all, wasn't this supposed to be a PS4 exclusive?
No.
I thought it was.
Never was.
Okay. Well, it was announced on a PS4 stage as coming to console for the first time.
Probably. But PlayStation doesn't do early access.
I think it's going to have the exact same problem that PUBG will have on PlayStation, which is the fact that it's been out so long, it's so established, that I just don't think people are going to care that much.
Well, people don't care about DayZ now on Steam.
That's what I'm saying. So I feel like it's a dead game that might get revitalized a little bit. But the problem with DayZ was always that it was kind of similar with the problem with Ark, where there would be people that would just work in teams that just fuck everybody's day up.
Well,
yeah.
I've never played DayZ, so I don't know
could see that getting
it.
rampant, and then people just being like, well, this isn't fun, and then just stop playing. And it's not fun when there's no one playing that you can fuck with, so those people will leave as well. So, I don't know, it's a 50-50. It might, because they said it's like 4K, Xbox X enhanced, all that kind of fun stuff. So, at least it'll be pretty and preferably run smooth, but we'll see.
And another, detail number 5, another game that is coming from PC to console, The Forest, to launch on PS4 on November 6th.
This will fare better.
Today, over on the PlayStation blog, a couple days ago, I feel like I need to state that every time, Anna Terakova, one of the developers working on The Forest, announced the release date of November 6th, along with an overview of the game, including how she feels the multiplayer is the best way to play. Speaking about multiplayer, Terakova said, quote, "We originally focused on the game as a single-player only experience, but fans of the game encouraged us to implement a multiplayer mode. Set out as up to 4 dads on a horror." That's not it. Yeah,
on a horror adventure to find you.
Oh no, that's set up as 4 dads on a horror adventure to find missing kids.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, so you're trying to find your kid. Join together with your friends to build, swim, and mess around with the turtle shell sledding in the snow. We now feel multiplayer is the best way to experience The Forest, playing with up to 3 of your other friends for the ultimate horror survival experience.
All the trailers of this look good. The only thing that makes me not want to play it is the crafting. I hate it.
Yeah, the horror part makes me not want to play it.
So it's a game for none of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks solid. Like it honestly.
When it first came out, it had a lot of hype behind it.
It looks great, and I'm sure I would enjoy it if it was just like survive the night in the forest. Like, but the fact you have to build up your own little base and everything, like I'm never into that, dude. Like I can't.
Oh, dude, I love that. That's my
maybe
favorite part.
you can play that part, and I'll just like kill things, and then like when it's daylight again, you can come back out and build more stuff, and then pass me the controller to kill things.
No, that's not how that works.
It could be.
Because you get your materials and collect. It's a whole thing, Tom.
Right.
But that's our details this week. So detail number 1, PS4 scene and PUBG video on the Xbox YouTube channel.
Fail.
Detail number 2, Team 17 announces the Escapists Complete Edition coming to Nintendo Switch.
Good times.
Detail number 3, Prison Architect Escape Mode out now on PS4.
Better times.
Detail number 4, DayZ hits Xbox One game preview.
Yeah.
And detail number 5, The Forest to launch on PS4 November 6th.
Should be good.
So there's lots of new games coming. Lots of indie games coming.
Yeah, it's good to see.
So,
the indies have really taken over, haven't they?
Yeah. So let's go in and speaking of indies, let's spotlight one. We're going to spotlight Sigi, a fart for Melusina. I can never fucking say that word.
Melusina.
Fart for that place that we're trying, for
Fart
that person,
for a mermaid.
for that lady we're trying to save. We'll be right back after this.
Level 2, yeah.
Welcome back, and I understand that your favorite hobby, which is farting, usually next to me, has been turned into a game of some description.
Well, kind of.
And that is Sigi, a fart for Melusina. Medusa. And
John Cena?
I was here when you played it, so I can talk to it as well a little bit, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I'm gonna read the official description here, and then we're gonna go from there.
Go for it.
So, super tight gameplay and wonderful pixel graphics make Sigi a lighthearted and loving 8-bit adventure to enjoy. Join Knight Sigi as he runs, jumps, and battles in a flatulent quest to save Melusina. We're going to call her Mel. Saves Mel. The love of his life. Take down the hordes of goofy enemies and crazy bosses, earn riches, find the long-lost holy artifacts, and make your way up to the top of Mount Stinkup. 8-bit pixel graphics and chiptune soundtrack, which is awesome. Detailed animation, parallax backgrounds, solid game design, hordes of goofy enemies and unforgettable boss fights, secret caverns full of loot and long lost artifacts, trading cards coming soon.
Really?
And that's what it said, trading cards coming soon.
That can't be real.
Well, probably trading cards in the game, not real physical trading cards. Collect all the hidden treasures to 100% the game. Platformer junkies and speedrunners could finish the game in around 30 minutes. For everyone else, completing the story mode, it'll take roughly an hour. Be aware, aiming for 100% of the game will put you to the test. Are you a standard player or a gamepad master? So, my opinions on this. First things first, it feels like a Super Nintendo game in all the best ways. So we talk a lot of times when you go back to play a game, you have the rose-tinted glasses of, like, is the game really that good, or is it just a product of its time? If you ever go back and play, if you ever go back to like GoldenEye, you'll realize how bad that game is when it comes to controls. But we didn't have dual analog sticks or dual sticks at that point, so that you had to use the C buttons, and they used what they had. This game feels like a game from that era, but with updated controls. And one of the first things when we were playing it, because like you said, you were here, we actually recorded it last week. When you were here watching me, one of the things I kept saying is the controls are super tight, which is the important part of a platformer, is that you don't want to fight the controls. So, a couple things about the game. Every level, you spell Sigi, S-I-G-I, and you have...
it's like Skate in Tony Hawk.
Yes, and I don't know what... It gives you a life and other things as you go along.
Yeah.
There is, throughout the world, there's hidden puzzles and hidden things you can find, so... Like
door, as we call them.
Yes. So you have a weapon at any point in time. A lot of times it's just like just a shoot, but you can get power ups as time goes along to have like a 3-shot or have a burst shot or have a big shot or have a gun or not a gun or grenade.
Isn't it like a chicken drumstick at one point?
Maybe.
It's exploding.
Probably.
I don't know.
But like you said, you can then do the Donkey Kong hole in the wall. And what I really like about it is it doesn't show you where those holes are, but you can guess.
Yeah, you just like kind of blagged across one at one point and you're like, oh shit. Like,
they're secrets, so now I'm going to look for these. The enemy variety is pretty varied from what I played. You have a lot of zombies, a lot of little creature things, plants, animals, zombies. There's a variety of enemy types.
And they're all different enough to keep it interesting.
Yes, and they have different abilities. Like the one plant, I don't know what it's called, but it spits like a bomb at you, so you have to be careful when you're shooting to not obviously hit that bomb, and it does a lot of damage. You have 3 hearts. You get hearts by killing enemies. They'll drop them, and or at the end of level you can get them, or you can
100 coins.
Get it as well. Yeah. Well, they give you another life. That's another life. Yeah. So 3 hearts give you a life, and then once you're out of lives, I would love to see what the game over screen is. I'm sure it's just him farting. So where the fart comes in is you're on this adventure to save the love of your life, whatever her name is.
She's a mermaid.
And at the end, she's a mermaid. So at the end of every level, you do this little jig because you end up at a cart. I'd never figure out what that cart was. It looks like a hot dog stand.
Yeah, it is a hot dog stand.
And you just go, and it does it with music.
Yeah.
And it's so stupid, but it's so it's
funny.
It didn't get annoying, which is the part that got me. Like
I feel always kind of like, I don't know why you're doing that, but it is making me laugh.
Yes.
So please continue.
Yes. Yeah. As it said here in the description, you can finish the game if you're speedrunning about 30 minutes, but it's about an hour and a half, depending on how good you are at platforming and all that kind of stuff. And if you want 100% the game, there's a lot of things that go involved with it. The boss fights. So I fought 3 bosses so far. Each one has been different.
Good sign.
Yeah, the issue I have with the boss fights, though, is I feel like it's just a slog.
Right.
In the aspect of you just want to save up your hearts and have a lot of lives, because even when you die and you lose a life, you spawn right back there. And the boss doesn't gain any health back. It's just literally if I have more hearts than him, I'll win. And some of the bosses felt like they felt cheap with the way they hit me. I didn't have a chance to avoid their projectile or whatever their gimmick was. I didn't have a chance to avoid it or have to avoid it and then attack. I felt like I had to do one or the other. I couldn't do both. So that was probably the big downside to me, is I felt like the boss fight could have been way more fun and way more inventive.
Just like a regular enemy with a fuck ton of health and
they were different.
Oh, I know they were, but I'm saying it kind of feels like they were.
The big issue is that the gimmicks they used just felt cheap to the player, as in you couldn't counter them. Versus think about I'm gonna compare it to Donkey Kong Country. So granted that I guess that's a 2D technically with the 3D sprites, but Donkey Kong Country, the first boss in Donkey Kong Country is Neki with the bird that goes bam, and you jump on his head. That's cool. You then go on and you eventually fight King K. Rool. You jump on his head. You have then the barrels that go along and avoid him. You have I'm trying to think of there's another one I'm missing. There's a couple birds in there. I'm trying to think of other enemies in there, but they have the same mechanic but slightly different based on the patterns they do. And I feel like in this, the patterns are so varied and so non-uniform that at times you learn the pattern for that boss, but even if you learn the pattern, you can't avoid it.
Right.
If that makes sense. So for Neki in Donkey Kong Country, he spits the whatever they are at you, the almonds, probably coconuts actually, at you, and you can avoid them. But in this game, you can't. There was one where the guy was in a tractor or a truck of some sort, and he would drive towards you, and I can't jump over you. This is not physically possible. So what do? I'm going to take a hit, and I'm just going to shoot you in the back multiple times because I have the invincibility frames for 20 seconds or a second. So that part sucked. But other than that, I really liked it. Like you said, the soundtrack was amazing. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. The fart mechanic, if it's called that, it doesn't even have anything to do with gameplay. It's just literally just in there.
That was what kind of blew me.
No pun intended.
Pun intended. Blew me off a little bit about it. Was that it was I honestly thought that since it's in the title and since he does it right at the beginning of the game and because he does it at the end of every level, that at some point that would become some kind of a power. And it still might, I guess. You haven't played the whole game yet, but I mean, you played a lot of it for an hour-long game, so it doesn't appear to be even if it was just some sort of area of effect attack or something,
less stun.
Just don't want to go near you. That would be A, funnier, and B, it would actually make the title make more sense. But it's just it's a really, really solid 2D platformer.
Yes.
That just has a theme that isn't really coherent. would be my thoughts on it. And I didn't actually play it. I only watched you play it, but it seemed like I got the idea of what was going on, but I just didn't get how the farting and everything tied into everything else.
Like other than somebody's like, let's make a fart game.
Yeah, other than they just wanted to put fart in the title of their game, which is fine.
More power to you.
But at the same time, like
you wish it was a game. You wish it was a gameplay mechanic of some sort.
Yeah, it would have worked. It really would have worked.
And and again, I can't stress enough how good the gameplay from a platforming standpoint is, because that is so hard to get right a lot of the times. And when you have a bad platformer, you have a bad platformer. So the controls are awesome. The jumps always felt good. I mean, obviously each game has its own kind of weight to it when you jump. You feel it. But I felt like it caught on pretty quickly. The enemies, it'd be that moment of like one would hit you and you're like, oh, that's what you do. Solve that problem and then avoid it from that point forward.
And it did feel a little bit like a cross between Mario and Sonic with the way it was presented as well, in terms of coin collecting and then also the level layout and that kind of stuff. Like it was. I
really like to me, the secrets is what takes this from like a meh game to like a really good game.
Yeah.
Not really good, but a good game. I won't say like. We don't give things grades, but this is not going to be like a game of the year. This is one of those games that you'll sit down for an hour and a half
for a couple bucks.
And finish it. Yeah. On Steam, it's $3. So it's not, as of recording, it's not out yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be a similar price on console. But it's well worth it. I mean, it's one of those things one of those games that pleasantly surprised me, because I looked at it and I can't remember if you're the one who requested the code. And you're like, by the way, you got. I requested. Yeah,
it said fart in the title, so I figured you'd like it.
And I actually ignored it because I was like, "Oh, this doesn't look that good." I'm glad you requested it because it was a lot of fun. This is one of those pleasant surprises that happens every so often, and I'm excited to actually finish the game. I'm about a little over halfway. If you look, I'm looking at the map here, but if you look at the map, I'm right before the next boss. So I finished one boss. I finished, I guess, 2 mini bosses and 1 big boss. I have the next big boss to attack. So, but yeah. Sigi, a fart for Melusina. For Mel.
Or Mel.
A fart for Mel.
A fart for someone.
Nicholas Flamel. I would recommend it. It's on every platform. You can get it on PS4, Xbox,
You
Steam,
said to
Switch.
us earlier you were going to tell us why we should get it on Switch. Why should we get it on Switch?
Because it's level based. It feels like Nintendo and NES game.
Okay.
That's it. If you love the Nintendo, Super Nintendo vibe of like Super Mario World, which is what I get a lot of vibes of, get it on Switch. Partially because it's level based, so when you're on the road, you can finish level, and each level takes maybe 2-3 minutes.
Not long.
Yeah,
they're not huge by any.
They're not huge, but if you're exploring, it'll take a little bit longer. Like I said, if you're trying to 100% the game, it'll take longer. There's some levels where I didn't find all the letters, so I want to go back and replay those, and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, play it on Switch for that reason. But if you don't have a Switch, I played it on PlayStation, had no issues with it. So
cool.
But yeah,
that is Sigi, a fart for Melusina.
For Mel. Fart for Mel.
Melusina. And we'll be right back with our question of the week right after this.
Hey, you're going to pre-order the next Halo, the next Gears, and the next Forza anyway, right? If you use the link down below, it's our affiliate link, and you can actually help us out in the process by getting games you're already going to get. So click that link down there, and we greatly appreciate it, and we love you guys. Wow. So our question this week, Tom, is I was thinking, because a lot of the games I played were on Xbox this week, which I'm normally a PlayStation guy, like unusually number of games on Xbox. The Sigi was the only one I think I played on PlayStation this week. So my question is, do you think Xbox is taking over indies from PlayStation? I'm excluding Switch because I think Switch, we can both agree that Switch is kind of the dominant force right now when it comes to getting good indie games.
Hands down.
But I would argue that PlayStation, at the beginning of this generation, was the king of indie games. And now that they're on top, I feel like they don't focus as much on those as they do other things. So I'll let you go first, and I'll have my rebuttal for you, and then we'll argue back and forth.
Can't wait. No, you are absolutely right about the Switch. I think the Switch is sort of hands down at this point the indie game console. So it is interesting that we're kind of talking about PlayStation versus Xbox here. But I think that
part of it's because Switch just needs more time to catch up install base wise, but I think they will.
Right, and I think that's kind of it. That's kind of the point that you're making in a way for me, is that I think Xbox is catching up well. I think personally that PlayStation has been focusing on bigger titles lately. They've made an obvious point of that. Like when they did the E3 presentation, rather than going the route of showing like a million games, they took a risk. It half paid off, I think, because I still would rather have seen a full game show. But the stuff they did show was absolutely incredible, and they showed a lot of it.
The only issue with that conference was they made people move from point A to point B.
That was weird. The whole thing was weird. But I get it. Like, they wanted to try and build like this kind of vibe for people that were actually attending.
But if you take it out, like the games they showed were amazing.
I think if you were there, it would have been more fun.
Well, even people that were there said it was weird.
Yeah, well, you know,
because it took forever.
But I think that they have honestly sort of put their cards on the table and said, hey, you know what we do really well? Fucking AAA like solo adventures. So that's like what we're going to talk about for a while. I don't think they've abandoned indie games necessarily, because there's still like every single week that games come out, there's still like this, maybe if you're lucky, 1 or 2 AA's, maybe a AAA, and the rest is indies. Those indies have questionable quality control. That much is definitely true. But a lot of these games that are coming out are multi-platform anyway. Like the games we've been talking about, like you did the Xbox new releases first this week, and
half of it was on PlayStation.
Yeah,
as well.
Pretty much every one except for like 2 or 3 were already on the PlayStation on the same day. So it's not so much a case necessarily of them taking over. I think catching up adequately is a better way to put it. I do think they have a secret weapon, which I'm sure you're going to bring up in Game Pass, but I think that right now PlayStation has a slight edge with the Japanese titles.
Oh, they always
don't go anywhere near.
They always will.
They have, I mean, there's a lot of indie stuff there, but there's also a lot of bigger stuff. But I think that because they have that market as well, they're always going to have essentially an extra part of the world that they can source games from, which Xbox tends not to do. They tend to focus more on America.
Even Phil Spencer's come out and said one of the things they wish they did better at launch was focus on the Japanese market.
Yeah, because like there's still a huge fan base for Japanese games, and you know, and they're not for everyone, for sure. Like they're super fucking weird for the most part, but the ones that do come out are really fun, and PlayStation already has those kind of on lock. So I would say that I'd say it's more a case of them catching up. Could they potentially take over in the future? Sure, but I think right now they're just getting to a point where it's fair or even or close to it.
So my take on it, as you said, I'm bringing up Games Pass, and that's kind of me. There's a couple things going on in Microsoft, and I think right now, like you said, I think it's fair to say that they are not surpassing Sony, but I think if Sony doesn't do anything, they will. Reason being, 2 things. One, I don't know if you heard, but they announced Xbox All Access, which through their retail stores you can get an Xbox One or Xbox One S or Xbox One X, including 2 years of Game Pass and 2 years of Xbox Live with a monthly fee like you do your phone. At the end, you own it.
Smart.
So that means everybody that does that has Xbox Game Pass. And I'm going to go through some of these are just ID at Xboxes, which is their indie thing. Titles that are on here. Some you may have heard of, some you might not have. Manual Samuel, Human Fall Flat, Abzu, Graveyard Keeper, Rocket League, The Escapists, The Walking Dead, like the Escapist Walking Dead thing. Next up, Hero, City Skylines, Cluster Truck, The Escapists, Sonic CD, which is weird, Hue, Kingdom, New Lands. Let's see what else we got in here. Anything else of importance? Nothing huge outside of those, but like that's the start. Our Final Station is another big one, and Ollie Ollie. But to me, that's like they're setting themselves up for something really good with Xbox 2, as the rumor has been. Whatever the fuck they call the next one.
Xbox 2, X1.
Just
X.
call it, I think they're just going to call it Xbox and just go from there.
I don't know. They need to figure that shit out. I know that much.
Yeah, so does there are a few companies that need to figure that one out. But I think with Xbox Game Pass, they're setting themselves up for the future because a lot of indie games have a struggle here. And I don't know if this is good for the developers because I don't know what the business side of Game Pass looks like.
Yeah.
But from an indie developer, if somebody already owns your game, they're more likely to play the game. Like I've done it. I've gone through Game Pass and be like, what games are in here? Let me download the ones that sound interesting to me.
And word of mouth is a powerful tool.
Yes.
And especially for indie developers. Like there's so many indie developers that we talk to that have made incredible games that just like haven't really struck because for whatever reason, not enough people were talking about it. Or at least, let me say, not enough major publications were talking about it. Recently, our buddy Colin from Me Less Than 3 released Luca, which is, in my eyes, one of the best looking indie games of the year. And a lot of streamers and people like that are covering it, but it's just not really getting much coverage in the mainstream. Whereas, like, that is exactly the type of thing they usually, like, swallow up. So, like, yeah, like, putting something like Luca on here and putting it to a wider audience of people that are like, holy shit, this is really good, would be great for him.
Again, I don't know business-wise.
Yeah, well, yeah, not necessarily business-wise, but on a promotional wise.
Yes. The other thing that Xbox Game Pass does well is you obviously don't need to keep it. It's a subscription-based thing. It's $10 a month. You have, and the games change every month. Games do come and go, so they're permanently. But if you want to buy a game, you get a 20% off that game. So when you're talking indie games, you're talking $2 to $3. But again, it's another incentive to then buy that game. Then that kick goes back to the developer, and so on from there. The other thing that I think Xbox has an advantage of is Xbox Game Preview and early access to things. So right now on Xbox Game Preview, there's a few games, and most of them I'm sure you've heard of. So the Darwin Project, which is actually now free to play. We need to play that at some point on the stream. Vigor.
Never heard of that one.
Which is, it's not a very good battle royale game. I hopped in it and it was not all right. DayZ just got announced.
Definitely heard of that.
The big one you probably like is Subnautica. PlayerUnknown's Battleground. That's a big one. Ghost of a Tale. Never heard of it. Snooker Nation Championship. Never heard of it. Snooker. Descenders. And Gwent, the card game. So this is something I think that they can hone more.
Expand
is this
upon.
Preview. So like Steam Early Access right now is a big thing for a lot of people. Like a lot of people like to get in the early access games and see it as it goes along.
And that's where a lot of the current most popular titles is in early access. There's not a lot of, and you know, obviously a lot of it is that the content creators want to get on that stuff early too, because if they're the first on it, then they get more views for it. So
and they also get money while they're developing. So that's because the big thing from making a game, especially for an independent studio, is funding for the game.
Right.
It's that weird, like, the cost of entry in video games is high. Like, say you want to build a game, it takes 3 years to build a game. You're not making anything during that time unless you're doing contract work for somebody else.
Yeah.
Then you release that game, hope to God you make your money back, and then some, is the best case scenario. And then you do and throw that money right back in.
Studios fold if they don't. So it's yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, isn't it, being an indie developer? You got to kind of try and make it for the least amount of like time and cost that you can, but also put out something that enough people want to play that you make your money back off it. That's why it's funny to see games like, I don't know, Minecraft and stuff like that were like relatively like, you know, shitty graphics and everything, but just like
took off.
Just like
word of mouth.
The principle was there and the gameplay was there, and then, you know, this guy's like a fucking billionaire or whatever. You know? So no, you're right. I think one thing, and I have to give praise to Xbox, which I don't usually do, so, you know, soak it in, is this all access thing is a genius move on their behalf.
Because not everybody has $500.
Not everybody has it. I've never really thought of consoles of being outside the cost of entry. I mean, they're expensive, especially now that they have all the like peripherals and everything that go with them. Like if you buy PlayStation, do you want to get PSVR
or even a controller, $60?
Yeah, do you want a professional controller for your Switch, that kind of stuff. But I think that this is a smart move as an option, if nothing else. And I think that they'll see a definite rise in their player base because of it, which is good. It can only be a good.
And let's be fair. Microsoft is doing a lot of these moves because they are behind Sony. Yeah. I think if the tables were turned, and I'm not here to bash Sony, but did you hear what Sony said about Fortnite and crossplay?
Yeah, that was kind of
shitty. That was not a good response.
No,
to me, that's arrogant Sony coming back, which is what scares me.
I agree with you in that. When I read that, I actually thought he comes off like an asshole in this interview. I didn't like.
But I think a lot of these decisions are again, from a business standpoint, some of them don't make sense, but I also think they're setting themselves up for the future. But they're behind. They have to do something to get people in. And I mean, on Game Pass, you now have Elder Scrolls Online. You now have The Division. Granted, those games are a few years old, but they're big games that people are still playing.
Yeah, and that's the important part, is that they're like Rocket League,
Fallout
and stuff,
4,
like,
Doom,
are
like
continuously playing those games even now.
You have the games that people want, and every single, obviously, Xbox One exclusive or Xbox exclusive going forward, whatever they name the next console, is going to be on there, which is awesome because like that gets people to buy Game Pass. And then, like we were saying before, once you have Game Pass, I've gone through and said, let me look what's here. When the updates this month, I'm going to go through and see like what's new on Game Pass and just see, because you're paying for it. Might as well. It's like Netflix. How often do you go through Netflix like, I don't know what the fuck I want to watch, and just scroll through like, that looks cool.
That's why it's so genius, because not just in the world of video games is it kind of a first in a way, but also, well, I guess you still have like some subscription services like PS Now and stuff, but
PS Now is not anywhere near your Game Pass.
But if you think about like how almost every single entertainment industry byproduct is now going to monthly payments or streaming or that kind of stuff, it makes perfect sense. Like you don't necessarily, I mean, some people do, but you don't necessarily go out and spend $1,000 on an iPhone. You spend $30 a month on an iPhone until you've paid it off. You don't.
And that's what I like about this is with All Access, it's yours.
Yeah.
Because my concern was like, oh, they're going to make you upgrade every 2 years, make it like a loan. But the fact that you own it, kind of like you do with like an iPhone upgrade program or AT&T Next, whatever carrier you use.
Yeah.
Once you pay that phone off, it is yours.
Yeah.
So
it's a rent to own kind of
situation. I'm excited about it. The other thing that I like about it is obviously with All Access they include the Xbox Live, which is another selling feature in Game Pass. And I didn't know this. You save 10% off game related add-ons and consumables.
What happens when you've paid off the main console? Are you still paying the same price for the games in the Live after?
Huh?
For All Access,
it's 2 years. It's a 2 year subscription.
Okay.
So once that 2 year lapse, you just have to renew it.
Buy it like normally.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
which, again, the fact that Game Pass is $10 is nuts to me. I think it could be easily higher. Like Sony's, what is PlayStation now, like 30 to 40 a month or something?
They fucked that up from the get go with their pricing.
Something real stupid.
If they had made it a reasonable, I think
15 to 20,
$10 a month, it would have been more reasonable. Even then, I would have been like, this library doesn't deserve $10 a month. Yeah. But they are like $20 a month, and like the individual rental prices were fucking horrible.
5 to 15.
Like, why would I rent one game for $5 if I could just pay $10 and have it for a month? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you. Where I don't think Xbox is taking over. I think Sony is still the top. Nintendo is gonna be top dog. I think.
Always,
I don't think they are there yet, but they are the ones that everybody's wanting to go on to.
You know what's amazing about that though, as well, is that like this is a generation of Nintendo that is actually putting something other than first party titles at the forefront, because every Nintendo.
Well, they put their titles at the forefront too.
Yes, but every Nintendo console previous, like the reason why people bought that console was for the Nintendo first party exclusives.
I still think people buy Nintendo for first party.
They do, but this one now has the added benefit of them also being King of Indies too.
Or being, I think it's more the portability than King of Indies.
And being able to
I think
play
it's portability more than anything
and that
else.
kind of stuff.
Because the indies, like you said, most of the indies are on everything.
I mean, it works best, but I think that a lot of the indie developers as well, they have this thing in their head, and as much as the portability side of it is definitely in there, I think a lot of them as well just grew up on Nintendo.
Yeah.
And they just like want to see their game on a Nintendo platform, like, at least some of the ones that we've talked to. So it's a case of like, yeah, it'd be nice to be on PlayStation, it'd be nice to be on Xbox, but I really want to be on Nintendo because it's like that's what they grew up with. So, I mean, you know, Mario and that stuff is what started a lot of people making games.
I would love to be on Xbox if I ever made a game, because I've had Xbox since the first Xbox, which I guess is only 3 of them, but I've had every single one.
So yeah, it's I think that's interesting about this generation of Nintendo, that not only is it first party, which they have excellent first party titles, but also that the indies are.
You should go back if you guys haven't. There's was it a couch conversation or what, where I fucking let Nintendo just have it?
No, that was your instant reaction to the conference where you just went after them.
It's when they announced it. When they announced the Switch, I was like, what is this?
The key.
But if you look in that video, one of the things I said is if they have solid first party titles, and if they have solid third-party games in between, they're going to be successful. What have they done? The only question right now on Nintendo, which is we're going to find out later this month, is online. That's the big question right now with Nintendo.
That looks okay. They haven't set up. I mean, really, the connecting to the online part seems fine. The fact they're giving you free classic games is fine. Get rid of the fucking friend codes, Nintendo. It's stupid. No one
chat.
likes it.
Give us a chat.
Give me a goddamn username and let me talk to people online. That's all I want out of your online. That's it. Like the friend code thing has never been good.
So that's the big thing that they've got to deal with. But I think we both agree that Nintendo is in a way better place right now than they were with the Wii U. I think they've sold more Switches than Wii U's at this point.
They're killing it, and good for them. You know, they listened, they changed, and they are successful.
My only personal gripe with it is everything that was, because I'm a Wii U owner, I'm one of the 12 million that bought a Wii U, is a lot of the games are being ported over. So that
motherfucker's gonna be worth some money.
I already own a lot of those games, but I get why they're redoing it because people don't own them already. So I understand why. Like the Toad Tracker,
pretty much
Treasure Tracker,
pretty much.
Mario Party
Maker, I think, is the only thing that
which surprises
was like
me.
solid on the Wii U that didn't make it anywhere else.
Which surprises me because it's the Switch is made for
yeah,
it.
I would think that. It's going to be announced at some E3 randomly. Oh, we decided to release Mario Maker for Switch. Mario Maker 2, yeah. With something. 3D Mario.
They'll add, they'll use what they did. Yeah, they'll use what they did for Odyssey and put that in there and be able to make that.
It'd be crazy.
I don't know how you would design levels. That's the tricky part. Is like making it simple enough for people to make stuff.
I mean, Media Molecule figured it out. I'm sure Nintendo can.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if Media Molecule figured it out for 3D.
But they figured it out for Little Big Planet.
But that wasn't 3D. That was still 2D.
No, you could
it
make
had 3D elements.
You could make like FPS games in Little Big Planet 3. Like they really, their creation tools were amazing in that.
So.
Anyway.
But anyway, this has been Indie Please Add Details, episode 33. You have a good episode, Tom?
Yeah, it was good. It's good to be back. A lot of good stuff this week. Exciting. Indies are on the rise.
Yes.
I'm a VR guy, so I'm really excited for Codename.
Which was yesterday?
Which was yesterday, but we're recording it after this.
Because we always record this first.
Because it was a huge week, or a couple weeks, I guess, for VR. But the indies have been doing really well lately, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And so, yeah. I'm cool.
I'm cool. This is Indie Please Add Details, episode 33, our weekly dip into the world of indie games and indie developers, where we discuss the news and our excursions throughout the week. Topping it all off with a topic you can join down below. I'd love to know what your guys' opinions. Do you think Xbox is catching up? Do you think Sony is potentially screwing themselves up with some of the stuff they've done recently? Or do you think it's just a matter of Sony just got a big enough lead that at some point Xbox has got to play catch up? Because it happened last generation where Xbox got the big lead, Sony ended up catching up. I think Sony, by the end of the generation, sold more consoles.
Yeah, mostly based off the power of the games.
When all was said and done.
Yeah, and Xbox making terrible decisions.
Yeah.
They're pretty good at.
I feel like Sony's making terrible decisions now.
Yeah, it's kind of flipping the coin right now, isn't it?
The arrogance. Whoever's on top is arrogant.
They're still making some good decisions. VR and pushing that, in my opinion, was still a good decision. But some of the we talked about it. Some of the interview comments, specifically from the CEOs and stuff like that, are very, very kind of like, oh, you guys need to chill the fuck out and remember your roots.
Again, I'm going to finish the spiel here in a second, but going back to the Fortnite thing where, like, I don't care if it's not cross-platform. I have no issue with it not being cross-platform. So that's Sony's prerogative to not make it cross-platform. Where I have the issue is it's an Epic account that you cannot do cross-progression. If you log into PS4, you cannot log in somewhere else, even though that's not a PlayStation account. That's an Epic account. I have the issue with that. That's where like Sony can do whatever the hell they want when it comes to playing with other players. It's their sandbox to play in. But when it comes to locking a third-party account, I think that becomes a bigger issue.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
You can list us on your favorite podcast services: Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, all those lovely places. Or you can hit us up on YouTube at youtube.com/C/level2 spelled out gaming. Or go to level2gamers.com, which is our new website. I need to put that in our spiel now. Our spiel
just
changed.
go to level2gamers.com. Everything's there, including links to our YouTube. Is way
you can also hit us up on Twitter at level2gamersstl. We're on Instagram at level2gamersstl. Same thing with Facebook, level2gamersstl. But
Facebook's a lot more active now as well, because everything we're posting on the website is getting insta posted to Facebook. So if you just
Twitter.
And Twitter. So if you just want like solid like random game news and stuff from us, then
or just go to level2gamers.com and see it.
Go to the website or follow.
You can. Fun fact on level2gamers.com, if you'd like to, we built it. Pulling the curtain back here, and I might talk about a little bit. That might be my podcast topic. We built it on WordPress, so you make a WordPress account and you're able to comment and give reactions on there as well. So it is a forum-based thing. So if you see an article we wrote, have opinions, you can comment on there, you can like it, you can share it, all that kind of stuff. So, but this has been Indie Please Add Details episode 33, and I'm happy to be back. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, welcome to the second level. Bye.